Oh, I almost forgot. No one's throwing me into a tree anytime soon. Hello guys, DT99 here and welcome to today's episode where we are going to go through NRL predictions and tips for round 9. Let's just get into it. Starting off with the game today, because we've decided to upload this really late, it is the South Sydney Rabbitohs up against the Penrith Panthers. Obviously, for those who have not been on the internet for the last couple of days, Jason Demetriou has been released. He's no longer the coach of South Sydney. And it's, I feel like it definitely should have happened maybe a little bit earlier, but it's definitely a decision in the right way for South Sydney to make. I do think their issues do stem a lot deeper than just the coach. But they're going up against, Penrith, it's Penrith. I do think South will try to show out for their new interim coach, but I mean, for this match, I have to tip Penrith to win that. Like, come on. Now we move on to the Friday match, and we have at 6 p.m. we have the Manly Sea Eagles up against the Canberra Raiders. Now, Canberra should have had this when they played on Sunday against the Sharks. Manly, I'm trying to think of who it is. I think it was Ruben Garrick probably actually needed this. And the bloke, Halma Olika Artutos needed, we're so good. But yeah, it was a very scrappy match. Manly, they took their chances and they got the win against Parramatta. For this match, Daly Cherry Evans has been cleared from suspension, which I think was probably the right call there. And yeah, I just think with how Manly have been going quite well at the moment, I think that they should take the win. Now we go to the final game on the Friday, 8 p.m, and I think this is going to be match of the round. It is the Brisbane Broncos up against the Sydney Roosters. Now, both had very solid wins last week. I mean, the Roosters put 60 on the Dragons on the Anzac Day match, and you had Brisbane going very well, just dominating the West Tigers. Adam Reynolds having the greatest interception of all time. That's why I needed this, because my brain... Yeah, I think this game is going to be really close. This genuinely is a game that could very much just be a coin flip, because I think both teams very much could have the argument on getting the win. So I'm going to do that. Heads for Brisbane, tails for the Roosters. New segment. It's like the shoe-in of the week, but it's all about chance. That was not even a foot. It just levitated. There we go. Boom. Heads. We're tipping Brisbane. Now we move on to the Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. We have the Canterbury Bulldogs up against the West Tigers. Now the Tigers previously they actually did some decent bits of play, but just really couldn't get anything mustered up against Brisbane. But the Bulldogs are coming off a bye, and in their previous match 2 weeks ago, had probably the best performance I've seen them play in a very long time. This, I think, could be a decent showing for both teams, but I do think this is a match. If the Bulldogs want to consider themselves proper contenders for the top 8, you have to win these matches, so I'm going to go with the Bulldogs there. Now we go Saturday, 5:30, and we have the Gold Coast Titans up against the Melbourne Storm. Now, the Titans, they did it. They finally got their first win of the season in very decent fashion as well, over in New Zealand against the Warriors. The Melbourne Storm, kind of just bodied South Sydney, and indirectly being the reason that Jason Demetriou got the sack. I really want to tip the Gold Coast. Believe me, I really do. But I ain't gonna will. So I'm going to go for the Storm just for my personal safety. What, you think me wearing a helmet was a Paul Kent reference? No. And now we go to the final game on Saturday, 7:35, and it is the North Queensland Cowboys up against the Dolphins. Now, obviously, both teams played in round 1. Cowboys had a fantastic showing. The Cowboys did a little bit of I wouldn't say a slump. They did get bodied pretty badly by Cronulla, but had a very good second half against Penrith, but just wasn't enough time there. And it's kind of same for the Dolphins, who just really didn't perform that much against the Knights, but they did have a bit of a late surge comeback. But they've bombed a lot of tries, unfortunately, in that match. So for this, it's going to be interesting. It's one of those ones where, the Dolphins are the underdogs, even though they've got a lot of high position. And, it didn't work when you tipped them against Brisbane. It did work when you against Parramatta. But I'm going to go for safety, and I think the Cowboys will win. Now we go on to Sunday, 2 p.m. It is the Newcastle Knights up against the New Zealand Warriors. Warriors have been in a little bit of a weird slump in the last couple of weeks. Haven't won in a little bit. The Knights, obviously, first match of our Ponga, we were able to get the result against the Dolphins. David Armstrong, build the boy a statue. But I do think the Warriors, this is going to be the match where they're going to, come out and, still state their claim as being one of the top teams, because they need to do that. And the Knights kind of similarly have to do the same thing, especially without Callum Ponga, to sort of prove that they're not just, a one-player team. But in my opinion, I think this could be close, but I'm actually going to back the boys. I'm going to back the Knights to take the win. It'll be interesting, but I trust us more than when we hit at home than we do over in New Zealand, and we almost beat them in New Zealand. We just couldn't take our chances. And finally, at 4 p.m, we have got the Cronulla Sharks against the St George Illawarra Dragons. But yeah, the Cronulla Sharks are the best on-form team currently in the NRL. Dragons actually going into that Roosters game last week were actually pretty decent. But they scored 18 points, but then just got absolutely bodied by the Roosters, unfortunately for them. And at home to Cronulla, Cronulla is the home team. I just think it's going to be another similar thing, and I think the Sharks should take the win. So nobody can slate me for saying, oh, you tipped on the favourites. The Knights are the exception. So that's going to be the end of my tips and predictions. Let me know who you guys have. Let me in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.